Today, I'd like to finish off, for now, the discussion on China, defense, our posture, and rare earth minerals, as everything is connected. Now, look at Xi's been in power for a long time, and back in 2013, he had a paper published, and what it was what it was called was the 6 wars that China believes they're going to fight over the next 50 years. So here's the start of the article. And I just want to say, this was published by Xi. There's a big article today in the Asian Times how Xi is running out of time on his legacy, and his legacies are these 6 wars. Remember, China is a country that's been around for a long, long time, and this is all about, their pride that the West shredded after centuries of defeat and embarrassment. As a country, this is big for them, not maybe for us, but for them it's big. So the number one is obviously the unification of mainland China and Taiwan. And I believe that the date that they give for this is 2027, so they want this to be reunified by 2027. Number 2 is the forced acquisition of the Spratly Islands. Now, we just did a video on this about 2 weeks ago, and this is to control the eastern side of the Malacca Straits. And they actually believe that they're going to have to, fight it out with Vietnam, Japan, and the Philippines to take these islands, especially the Philippines. Number 3 is the reunification of South Tibet. So they talk about this. This is actually between India and China. This is a major flashpoint between them, and we're going to see how that actually goes away. One of my videos I'm going to come up with is I'm going to do the 5 factors with India and China. Okay, that'll be coming up next. Now, I'm not going to pronounce these islands because I don't know how to pronounce them, but this is basically Okinawa. So they actually say here that they believe that they're going to fight it out with Japan and America over these islands. Number 5 is the invasion of Mongolia. They go back, they were there and owned them in the 1600s, so they want to go back and take them over again. Given the amount of resources inside Mongolia, I would not be surprised at this at all. And finally, China hopes to take back the land from Russia, okay? In China's view, Russia occupies 160 million square kilometers of land belonging to the China since 1644, and of course the Russians took it in 1945 when they joined the end of World War II. Now, as anyone follows this channel, I predicted this 2 years ago. I actually said that they won't go for Taiwan first, they'll actually go for the land from Russia first. And any statements or narratives that I've come up with, this one certainly I had the biggest pushback on, incredibly so. All I'll say is that this is not my point of view. This is Xi's point of view on the things that he wants China to accomplish. So China has not been, let's say, an outside aggressor, and certainly not like the United States has been. They still have their eyes on what they consider to be theirs. And so now this war, this new war that we're going to have, that we've learned about through the Ukraine, with missiles and drone ships and so forth and so on, it's all driven by rare earth minerals. Now, we've done a lot on the rare earth minerals. I get it. Hopefully this kind of puts it in, because I've been saying that we're going to be spending tens and tens of billions of dollars. I've said that many, many times. So this $1 billion, 400 million into MP Materials, this is like nothing. This is just admitting that we have a problem, okay? So today, I believe this is there's an article in the Asian Times about China's gallium grip squeezing and eroding U.S. military's advantage, okay? So China has put a de facto blockage on us getting gallium, okay? And this military parade that we just saw that they had with everybody there, everything in there, all these weapons were all powered by gallium nitride, GaN, semiconductors, okay? And this is used in phased array radar, which enable rapid deployment of compact, high-performance systems across the armed forces. You gotta remember something. In the military, they talk about the kill chain. So the kill chain is basically three things. Something's coming to identify it, then identify how I'm gonna hit it, and then I hit it. 1, 2, 3. The smaller the time that we can make in between those decisions and the overall one is the person who wins the war. This GaN technology, this is across all military, everything up in the sky, everything in the ocean, all onto one thing. We need gallium. So we invented, this array technology, okay? But China has a near monopoly on refined gallium in a mature industrial chain. And if you read down here into the third paragraph, it notes that China controls 98% of global gallium production. 98%, all right? And they emphasize that China's export restrictions, which were tightened in 2023, have evolved in comprehensive embargo targeting the U.S., disrupting our access to gallium for critical component defense systems. So, is it important to us? Well, we have over 11,000 U.S. military components dependent on gallium, and 85% involving Chinese suppliers. They caution a chokehold poses a strategic threat to the U.S. national security and our allies' defense readiness. Now, the U.S. is doing what China and Russia are doing with oil. We're circumventing the embargo from China, and we're buying it from third-party countries. In this case, the country is Belgium, we think, right? Because no one's going to admit it. But the Chinese exports of germanium to Belgium surged 224% in 2024, mirroring the decline in direct U.S. exports, all right? So we're going one way or the other. Gallium re-exports are harder to trace, and these backdoor flows undermine China's restrictions and sustains the U.S. consumption despite a 68 to 77% drop in direct imports. So in other words, from China, we're down, 75%, we'll say, okay? Now, they mentioned that we have reopened the Mountain Pass rare earth mine utilizing the Defense Production Act. We gave them $400 million, okay, to get this up and running. So we're pursuing a friendshoring partnership with Canada, Australia, Japan, and South Korea. Geez, aren't these the people that we're tariffing and driving their economies into recession? I guess this is a good strategy for them to work with us, all right? But notice what they say here. Despite the efforts, he points out that domestic refining remains limited, with new facilities taking 10 to 20 years to become operational, okay? A challenge compounded by investor hesitancy, high capital costs, and environmental opposition. These high capital costs means that we're not getting a lot of, there's no ROI, so no one wants to do it. But the last line is the critical line, all right? It says the U.S. has invested $600 billion in rare earth related infrastructure abroad, not in America, and is unlikely to shoulder the enormous costs of fully de-risking from China, estimated between $590 billion and more than $2 trillion by 2024. So, I rest my case. It's going to be billions and billions. Actually, it could be trillions and trillions of dollars for us to overcome this. So here we are. We have the world's being divided up, and we're on the wrong side of a couple trades. What do you think? Tell me in the comments, and thank you for following.